Welcome to the Garage Engineer. Today I wanted to fix a problem I had in the shop, and that is some way to organize my collection of CA adhesive. Right now I store my CA in my carry-all boxes that I make, but the problem is that it's not very secure, so when I lift them up they kind of fall and move around, and also they don't have a home. They just get kind of thrown in here. Now I use CA a lot in the shop. From holding down materials on my CNC machine, attaching letters to signs, and pretty much most of the repairs that I do. So in today's video, I wanted to challenge myself and to build a holder for all my CA glues. Use multiple materials and kind of intertwine them to see what kind of holder we can create. And also just use CA as the adhesion for all the parts. So no nails, no screws, nothing, just CA glue. So let's get started. So roughly I drew out kind of what I was wanting to make. It's going to have a handle made out of some type of metal, a base, with on top of the base is going to be some type of leather, and then we're going to have acrylic a few inches above the leather to hold all the bottles in place, and also a little container to hold all the micro tips that come with your adhesive when you're trying to get into small areas. So that's going to have that. So it's pretty basic shape. It kind of looks like the ghost catcher in Ghostbusters with the handle sticking out like this, but this is kind of the general idea of the direction I want to go. From that design, I created the spacing of all the bottles and all the accelerator and where the metal pieces are going to be. So I'm going to use this as my cut pattern for the wood base and also the acrylic. I am going to have this on my website. If you'd like to have a copy of the measurements, it's going to be a free download. If you just go to theGarageEngineer.com, we'll have plans there, and we'll have a link in the description of how to get the download also. So I happen to have a piece that is actually the right length that I need, so I just need to cut it the right width for the base of the holder. Then I cut a piece of plexiglass to fit the same size of the base. So I want to use the template and glue it onto the pieces. That way I can get all my holes drilled and they're all aligned. But the way I'm going to attach the plexi to the wood so it doesn't move is one of the tricks I use when I'm holding down materials on my CNC machine. So first we'll put a piece of blue tape on both sides. Now we'll add some Starbond medium, just a little bit, doesn't have to be much. Then I'm going to add the accelerator to the other side, and then we'll line up the pieces. So by doing this, I'm getting the two pieces connected, but I'm not damaging any of the wood because I'll be able to take it off. I'll show you in a minute. The blue tape will not leave any marks on either piece of the material. I am going to cheat a little bit on my rule of just CA glue. I am going to use Super 77 to put a sticky adhesive to our template so we can stick it to our plexiglass. Now we broke through all the way through the plexiglass, and then I went down about 1/4 of an inch. So now let's change the bit out to the smaller 1 3/8 here. Now for the last, we'll do the 3/8 cut. We will need to go all the way through because this is where the handle is, but we're only going to go partially way through the wooden base here. So we'll do this last cut here, and then we'll move over to the drill. So for the last drilling, we're going to be putting pins that are going to stand the plexiglass off of the wood base. So we don't want to go all the way through the plexiglass or the wood because it's going to be kind of to give a finished look. However, to get the placement, I can't drill from the top all the way down, but what I'm going to do is just make a 1/16 of an inch drill hole all the way through just to touch the wood base. Now that we've got all the alignments placed, let's go ahead. I'll clean up the tops, and we'll take this apart here, and we'll clean all this tape off. And now that we know where the alignment holes are, we can use our 3/8 bit and drill partially way through the plexiglass and partially way through the wood here. I did want to show you, this is the reason why I do the blue tape and the adhesive, so the pieces stuck really well together, but then by taking off the blue tape, it doesn't damage either surface that you want to keep. So that's why I like to use this a lot, especially when I'm CNCing. But you can see how well it worked putting these two pieces together without marring them up. So now that we got the wood base, we're only going to, for the pins that we have located here and here, we're going to just drill halfway through. Now we just do the same thing for the plexiglass. Now I'm on the back side of the plexiglass, so that's important to do. Make sure you're on the back side. And there you have it. That's a good way to line up your pinholes on two materials. Good morning. It's the next day and we've started up bright and early, and I wanted to get working on the handle first because we're going to be bending some metal, and I want to do it before it gets hot because it's the middle of summer and it's getting up to about 95 with high humidity. So let's get going. So to build the handle, we're going to use 3/8 inch metal round stock. We're going to bend the metal by first heating it up. First we'll make a 90-degree bend that will take the bar from the base to the handle. Then we'll make a 180-degree bend, and that will form the handle itself. I cut 2 pins, and they will be used to hold the plexiglass up off the base. I like using my cordless cutoff wheel, then cleaning the edges up using my disc sander. I cut the excess length off the handle. Then I cut the handle's base to the right height. I place the template on the leather with tape to cut out the corresponding holes that are on the wood base. I have a leather punch set that I like to use to cut out holes in leather. I don't have a punch that is the same diameter as the bigger circles, so what I'm going to do is use the biggest punch I've got and just kind of take small bites out of each circle. Now I'm going to use some thick CA glue to attach the leather to the MDF, and I'm using thick so that it fills in any voids that the leather might have, so it attaches to the MDF better. I'm just using the pins that I'm going to use as offsets as locating pins for right now while we get the leather lined up with the MDF. Now we'll get some weights on here. And we'll cut the edge off once everything is dry. To clean up the edge of the base, I am adding poplar wood trim around the perimeter. So far I like how this is turning out. The only thing is this border is a little too thick, so what I'm going to do is take it to the table saw and we're going to trim it down just to make it a little thinner. It's a little too fat for being trim pieces, so I think that'll make it look a lot better if we do that. And there we have a lot thinner line. I think aesthetically that'll look a lot better. I am excited to announce that Starbond had asked to partner with the Garage Engineer. Starbond is a trusted brand of CA adhesives and is a big supporter of the maker community. I use a lot of CA glue in the shop. From holding down materials on my CNC machine, attaching letters to signs, and pretty much most of the repairs that I do. To celebrate this partnership, Starbond is giving the Garage Engineer viewers 10% off their entire order when you order through starbond.com. When checking out, use promo code TGE, that's TGE, to receive 10% off your entire order. So use promo code TGE on your next order and save 10% at starbond.com. Thank you, Starbond, for your support, and now back with the build. We stain the base trim with weather gray. And we spray painted all the metal black. Then we set them to the side to dry overnight. Good morning. Pieces are back from paint. They're dry and we're ready for assembly. Now we'll add an O-ring to the handle above and below the plexi, and may that help hold it in place. Now that we've got everything situated like we like it, we're going to add a little glue here. So for our final step, we are going to cut our bottle to make it a container to hold our small bits and pieces like our micro tips. First, I'll put blue tape just to protect the bottle as we cut it. Then we're going to mark 1.25 inches up from the bottom. And finally, we'll use the masking tape as a ruler to mark off exactly where 1.25 inches is while we're cutting.